let's invite a special guest who will do a little sharing session as well. He will be sharing a integration of NFT storage and Flow together with a demonstration of the project itself. So let's welcome Pan, who is the developer advocate for Filecoin and IPFS. Pan, please.
Oh, hi. Hello, everyone. Pan, I'm a developer advocate at Filecoin. I've been working on a lot of projects at the intersection of art and technology. And recently, I've been very excited about NFTs in general. And I'm very excited to be meeting you all and to share what I've done here with you. So let me share a screen right now. So I've put together an NFT Pet Store app built on Flow and NFT Storage. And I'm very excited to share it with you and work with you through a small code project so you will become dangerous enough to build your own version of NFT Marketplace or any cool Web3 app you can imagine in the next 6 weeks. All right, so here are what we are going to be doing together today. So we will learn what NFT storage is and why it's a perfect match for NFT assets. I will demo Flowwow, an NFT Pet Store app I created, and explore common functionalities of an NFT marketplace. We will learn how to interact with Flow, contract to mint a pet token. We will learn how to store image assets on Filecoin and IPFS network using NFT storage, JavaScript client library, and display them in your app using its CID or content identifier. However, we won't be touching Flow smart contract language cadence in this session, but you will find great documentation and resource on it on Flow developer portal, whose link will be provided at the end. So we will, however, learn how to interact with cadence using React. Moving on. So here's what you'll need if you are planning to follow along with the live coding fun. First, please clone the template from the given repository. This is a minimal pet store clone that's designed to help you learn the basic of using JavaScript to interact with the cadence, which is provided as part of the template. So you don't have to write any cadence code from scratch. And also download the Flow command line interface tool by following the instructions at the link for the operating system. We will use Flow command line tool to deploy the contract to the emulator, but you can send cadence transactions and scripts outside of JavaScript with it, which is pretty useful for testing and experimenting. And also make sure you install Docker and Docker Compose. Well, this is needed for you to run the emulator and the dev wallet locally so that, they just work so you can focus on the app. And make sure you have Node.js installed, preferably any version above 12.13 should be fine. So you can run your React application without any hassle. Otherwise, all repos will be available to you to self-guide yourself through at your own pace. So have fun with that. Okay, so let's start with the obvious question here. What is NFT storage? So we'll go over that briefly, but feel free to leave any questions as they come up, and I'll do my best to answer them afterward. NFT storage is the free Web2 HTTP gateway to the IPFS and Filecoin network that's made for storing and persisting NFT off-chain data. So what kind of data? Any data that's too heavy to be included on blockchain. You don't want to spend a whole lot of gas fee on synchronizing the data, especially binary data, like photos or videos. NFT storage is very, very good for that because your data is stored on the decentralized Filecoin network. It's persistent, even if the NFT storage API service is down. You can very easily call the REST endpoints, very familiar to you, in any client of your language or through NFT storage JavaScript library to store any data. And then you'll receive a content identifier for your data or the CID, which is a label. You can think of a label used to point to your content on the IPFS network. NFT storage is well designed for NFT developers like you because you want your NFT assets to store for a very, very long time. This is because the value of NFTs lies in the rarity, just like art pieces. So can you imagine buying a very famous Picasso's painting and just hang it in your living room? And it keeps disappearing on rainy days. Your NFT assets must always be reliable in that respect. So in IPFS speak, there must be PIN. So with NFT storage, you can either upload an asset on the web UI, or you can do it with the HTTP client or JavaScript client. After an upload, you get a CID, which you can build a URL that points to the PIN asset. Well, note that some browsers like Brave can browse the asset directly using the IPFS URL. But otherwise, you will need to build a Web2 URL with the CID for other browsers and for you to display maybe the image in the HTML image tag. So let's get the big picture a little bit here. As you can see here, these are the overall layers of the Web3 architecture in respect to Filecoin and IPFS. You can think of your React app or the mobile app as the front-end layer, the pink box at the topmost, and Flow as the decentralized logic layer, the orange box in the middle. And the NFT storage is a kind of storage helper that interacts with the Filecoin IPFS nodes. So you don't even have to care much about the nodes at all. You don't even have to know if they exist or whatever, which is pretty great when you want to focus on just your app, for, let's say, a hackathon where you have a limited amount of time. So if anyone is interested in diving deeper into IPFS and Filecoin, you can find great resources after this presentation. But the bottom line difference is IPFS helps you store files in a very decentralized way based on the content of the file instead of the locations on the internet. While Filecoin is, you can think of it as the incentivized network to make sure your files will be stored for a very long period of time by other computers in the network. Think of it as renting storage from multiple tenants with whom you don't have to argue or you can fully trust. So before we move on, I'd like to give you a heads up for the upcoming workshops on October 2nd and 9th, which will deep dive into NFT storage and Estuary, another amazing service on top of the Filecoin network. So if you missed anything today or need to learn more, those will be pretty good places to hop in next. So take note of those. All right, so what can we build with NFT storage and Flow? To give you some rough ideas, virtually any dApps you can think of. For example, of course, NFT collectibles like CryptoKitties and NVIDIA Top Shots, where you can own, collect, and trade virtual collectibles. Well, you can build NFT gaming like Zed, the virtual horse racing game, where users can own virtual horses, trade them, and race them on virtual circuits. Or you can even like go very critical and think of like some very cool new applications, like tokenizing real world assets, like real estates or real artwork. We could think of, you know, codifying lengthy contract paperwork into Flow smart contracts. Well, I'll leave the rest to you to come up with your own great apps in the course of 6 weeks. So it's time for me to demo Flowwow, the pet store app I've made. So what's so cool about it, you ask? Well, Flowwow Pet Store is a React app that runs on top of the Flow emulator and use Flow Dev Wallet to easily play with accounts without the need of a real wallet. So it's running locally. So if you want to develop on Flow locally, you use the Dev Wallet instead of a real wallet. It implements the common NFT on-chain transactions, such as minting and transferring tokens, and query scripts to read from the chain. So you can learn a lot from just browsing through the code base of Flowwow, which is open source, and I'll share in a moment. It uses NFT storage JavaScript library to upload pet images onto the Filecoin network during the minting process and display images hosted on IPFS. It uses Flow FCL library to facilitate interactions between the contract on the Flow emulator and the JavaScript app via Cadence. Oh, actually, the repository is actually down there, so you can start cloning, forking, playing around with it. So here, what it looks like. I built this demo in just over 2 weeks from very little knowledge of Flow, Cadence, and NFT storage. So needless to say, they are very developer friendly, and I'm very excited to see what you all will build in the course of 6 weeks during the hackathon. As you will see, Flow tooling and documentation are very easy to follow, and the Cadence language is very simple, especially if you have written any code in Swift, Kotlin, or Rust, you should feel right at home. All right, so I'm just gonna share my app running locally here for a moment. So I'll start sharing my screen right now. Okay, so first what I'll do here, this is the Flowwow repository. I'll just run the emulator and then the dev wallet altogether using Docker Compose. Alrighty, so next up, all right, I'm just gonna run the app. Okay. Starting the development server. Okay, so while we're doing that, let's make sure for one thing here. Oops. So we have to use the Flow command line to deploy our smart contract to the emulator. And that's done. All right, so let's see what it looks like now. All right, hopefully you can see the Flowwow app page right here. Let me know and if you can't see it. Okay, let's do this one more time just in case. All right, Flowwow, NFT Pet Store, adopt this little cute fur balls here. So as you can see here, these are pre-made pets of cat and dog variations. they're all being displayed from local file system for now. Pretty cute fellows, huh? Um, they are not minted right now, as you can see. You can hover around. They are not minted, and you cannot do anything with it because you have to connect to your local wallet. Okay, so this is the Flow Dev wallet. You can see there's Mr. A already pre-created here. I'll just use him. So, oh no, there's something going on here. Mr. A needs to activate his collection. So what does this mean? This is what, this is how cadence and flow work actually. If you have done any programming in Java or Rust, where there are access modifiers like private and public, um, it is very similar in cadence. Basically, you have to create interfaces and resources, and you have to design what kind of resources you want to share from your smart contract publicly with your users. In this case, the smart contract, in which you can always check on the repo, the smart contract is sharing the collection resource to any users of Flowwow, and it has to be explicitly activated, accessed by that user. So why going through this hassle, right? Well, the good thing here is that can you imagine like scenario when you have to set a token as the owner of the token or the owner of the marketplace here? You have to send token to a wallet, a Flow wallet, and then maybe you accidentally sent to someone who is not Flowwow's user, and then the token's gone, right? Oh, he's not your user. But with this, well, it's kind of like providing the safety layer that whoever you're sending the token to, at least he had already activated the collection. So he is one of the Flowwow users, right? So you can mess with that. So let's go ahead, being Mr. A here, activate this collection. Oh, wow, what's going on here? Okay, this is like really great. This is the Depp wallet showing you who is actually authorizing the transaction. And it's Mr. A here with his address shown here. It even shows the transaction code, the cadence code written that's being in question here, is being used here. So this code is actually written by me. It's part of the Flowwow repository as well. I tried to comment all the code as much as I could so that you guys can later learn a lot from these code. So Mr. A will approve the transaction and bam, he's already activated and he's already ready to adopt these furballs. Okay, so Mr. A is a fan of cats. So he will start minting, of course, cats. Okay, he just mint all the cats right here. Okay, you can see that right now all the cats are actually belonging to the marketplace account. So Mr. A just minted and then deposit these pet tokens to the marketplace account, which is the master account. Then adopting a pet token, meaning transferring from the marketplace account to his account right here. So let's try to do that. Adopt, bam, now it's in his wallet. Great. He really loves cats, so he's gonna take all the cats, but just for fun, he's gonna mint this French bulldog as well. And then maybe this guy, Jack Russell. Okay, he's satisfied here. But he's not sure he's gonna be able to take care of all 3 cats all at once. So maybe he'll just, I don't know, maybe return 1 to the marketplace. So as you can see here, you can release a pet, which is actually just transferring the token from his account back to the marketplace account. So he'll just release this guy. See, now you have to authorize, Mr. A have to authorize the transaction because now he's transferring the token to somebody else. So he approve it. Okay, now it's available on the marketplace. for anyone to grab. All right, and he locks out. And then another user comes along and create a new account, Mr. B. And then he activates his collection, the proof. Okay, now you can see that, you know, some pets were already minted. Some pets were taken, all 2 cats were taken by Mr. A. But since he loves dog, Mr. B will mint some other mutts here and then adopt. Right, and maybe release this guy. Something like that. Okay. So as you can see here, Flowwow includes all the basic functionalities that you want in an NFT marketplace, like minting and transferring tokens between accounts. If Flowwow were on the testnet or the mainnet, hypothetically, you could also send these tokens to the other wallets on the blockchain and not just limiting your interactions between the marketplace and your wallet. And you can fork and clone the repository. It's right here. Flowwow here. Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot from just browsing through. Just been something really cool with this project. Okay,